What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader here, back in the studio after a long European summer. I hope you guys all had a good summer. I hope that you've been capitalizing on this crazy market. I had roughly 24 of my millionaire students out with me to Italy. But in this video, I want to talk about 3 specific millionaires. JCP, Juan Carlos, my newest millionaire, Andy, who's not my second newest millionaire, my third or fourth newest millionaire, and then Jack Kellogg, who just crossed over $13 million. He made 500 grand just in this summer alone, his best summer, I think probably ever. He's only going long these days. But I want you first to leave a comment below, congratulate all 3 of these guys, JCP, Jack, and Andy, on their success. I'm really so proud of what they've accomplished. Andy is just over $1 million, JCP is just over $1 million, and like I said, Jack is, over 13 million, but they're all on the right path. You might not be a millionaire yet, maybe you are a millionaire, but you can always learn and you can do more. So I want to share some lessons that I learned from hanging out with them for nearly 2 weeks. You can watch some videos that we filmed. Here's a video of me and JCP just going over, just very, very bare basics of how he turned roughly 2 grand into $1 million. Check this out. What's up, Tim Sykes here with the man JCP here in Italy, newest millionaire from the challenge. How did you do it? What'd you start with? Tell them your story.
Started with 2,000 bucks, a long time ago, almost a decade, $1 million in May. Finally crossed it, man. I'm here in Positano with Tim, having a great time, eating food coma every day.
Lots of food.
Oh, man.
But 2K to $1 million, it didn't happen overnight. Why did it take you so long? What did you learn in the beginning versus now?
In the beginning, I honestly was just clicking buttons. I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't until I started to categorize my trades and to see where I was making money, where I was losing money. The moment I did that, I found consistency. I turned 2K into 12K in 1 year, and then I turned that 12K into almost 200K the following year, and then the rest is history.
So you learned the process. DVDs, video lessons, or webinars, which is your favorite?
I love webinars because you get to ask all the people the questions. So that's always really helpful when you have 6-7 figure traders and you can ask them any question you want. So, I mean, they're at your disposal.
Live webinars, archive webinars, Jack Kellogg, myself, Art of War, so many others. Tim Grittani, there's 70 plus webinars. Have you watched all of Tim Grittani's webinars?
I've watched all of Tim Grittani's webinars, and I've watched his DVD about 12 times.
Beautiful. And that's what this is, learning from the process of people who have done the seemingly impossible. It doesn't happen overnight, but now, you've got the process. What are we doing next?
Next, we're trying to take it to the next level and trying to make 2 million.
I like it. One step at a time. I was talking about where are we going next.
Oh, we're going to Japan.
We're going to Japan.
We're going to Japan in a month.
Exactly.
My first food tour.
And you're learning how to travel and trade from everywhere. You're trading from Italy. You're eating well. Japan, different time zone, so it'll be a little tough.
We'll make it work.
We will. Congratulate this guy on his success. Let's see who's next. How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it?
And then also Andy, I guess we'll insert the video that I filmed with him in Ohio, because I didn't get a chance to film another long video with him this time. I mean, it was a crazy few days, but Andy, I recently visited out in Ohio, so you can learn about his strategy. His background is actually crazy. His family owns a nail salon. He was giving manis and pedis in the back. He's going and trading in between, nail appointments. And now I've met his parents too. Amazing family and really good work ethic. I am here with Andrew, my latest millionaire student. Everyone congratulate Andrew. What does it feel like to cross $1 million?
It feels surreal, It feels like a video game, It doesn't feel real at all.
And what'd you do to celebrate crossing $1 million?
But I went out to eat Piata. It's this Italian restaurant. Yeah, so I bought food because I'm not used to splurging on myself like that.
What did you have? Did you get an extra entree?
Oh, no, it's the same thing.
What'd you eat? What's your favorite meal?
It was it's Piata noodles with steak and salmon. That's my
favorite. You're making me hungry. All right. No, it's pretty cool because we just gave a webinar. I'll link the challenge webinar that Andrew just gave. Pretty awesome, just showing his whole experience. And we'll, you challenge students who want more webinars. We'll do future webinars too, where you can show off your charts and stuff like that. But I want you to just give one big tip for people who are starting. A lot of people are watching this, they're just starting. What can they do? Not necessarily to make $1 million overnight, because it took you several years. but what can they do to like maximize their journey?
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, you want to keep your losses small and try to find consistency. Then once you find consistency, you can compound that and then branch off. You're basically just trying to stay alive and keeping it small until you find that light bulb moment, until you find something that clicks, and then you keep doing that.
Like a pattern that works over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your first pattern that worked where it was like clicking and it was like rinse and repeat? Do you remember?
I remember it was buying these strong closes, and then you gap them overnight for a morning spike.
Yeah.
Or like a morning gap.
How many times in a row did it work when you were like, wait a minute, I'm onto something?
Yeah, it worked for like a couple weeks, like 2 months, and then it just stopped. And now I'm like, damn, now I gotta go back to my 9 to 5.
Nah, yeah. So his parents own a nail salon. He was doing nails before getting into trading. So do you do nails ever again or no?
Not anymore, but I can still do it, but I'm kind of rusty.
Yo, I need this, right?
Yeah.
You have to understand patterns go in and out of favor. And so like, it's really good what he just said, back in the year 2000, were you even born? You were born in 2000.
You were in 96.
You were a baby.
Yeah.
But in the year 2000, for example, I made $700,000 the first 8 months of the year. I was a freshman in college. I was like mind blown.
That's insane.
I was buying OTCs that were just gapping up, same kind of pattern that you learned about during the COVID bubble. Patterns repeat even 2 decades later. But I was banking almost every single time, and I was like, what is this? Am I lucky? Am I smart? Like, I got onto a pattern that was working. The last 4 months of the year, 2000, when the market crashed, I lost 10 grand, right? Or last 8 months, my bad. First 4 months, I think I said it wrong. I'm all messed up. First 4 months, I made 700 grand. Last 8 months, I lost 10 grand.
That's brutal.
The pattern stopped, okay? So it's all about learning a pattern and then capitalizing on it when it's there. And the cool thing is there's always new patterns. What's a pattern that's been working for you recently?
Yeah, these bottom bouncers on OTCs, they're actually downtrending. They're not alive anymore. They're kind of dead. Like, they'll keep going down, but you can spot those reversals. So you can play those first green days, and sometime when they catch a bottom or like a dip, you can play like the second leg up. And then, just milk those the best you can. And then sometimes you get Fannie Mae. When they set up on like the daily, you can kind of like get in on those consolidation breakout, like the multi-month breakouts.
Yeah.
And they offer you some nice swings.
So he's talking about the number 3 pattern or number 2 pattern, depending on where it is in the chart. But I'll link the framework underneath. He loves you trade all the steps in the pattern, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I like the 4, 5, 6. The 4 is like the big crash. The 5 is the bottom. 6 is like if you want to like short the secondary bounce, it's like a bouncing ball. But learn the 7-step framework, okay? How many times have you seen the 7-step framework work?
Like too many times. It's insane. It will change your life. So you learn the framework, and yeah, it would definitely change your life.
It's crazy. And understand, like, it's not an exact science, so it doesn't work 100% of the time, but more times than not. That's the key, right? Like, finding stuff that works more times than not. Talk about the challenge just for a second, because you've been in the challenge for what, 2.5 years?
Yeah, about that.
What have you done with the challenge? How has it helped you?
Yeah, it helped me because, so when you get, webinars from different people, they all offer some strengths and what they're good at. So you can take something from everyone, and then you can apply that to your trading. So then when you're trading, it's kind of like you have everyone with you too. You have a little bit here, a little bit there. So then that's what gives you like an edge. You have a piece from everyone.
You're building on all the other millionaire students, and this is why it's so cool. Where like there's more and more millionaire students lately because we're building on the backs of others. Early on, we didn't have that much content. I didn't have that many millionaire students. You didn't have that many variations. Now there's different students with different patterns. You learn a little something from Jack Kellogg. You learn a little something from Tim Grattani. You learn a little something from Ellis. You learn a little something from Michael Good and Tim Lento. Like, there are so many webinars. Do you go back and watch the archive webinars?
I do, yeah.
Damn.
I haven't watched all of them, but they're all good.
How many Tim Grattani webinars have you watched? There's 71 of them. Put you on the spot.
I haven't watched any of it. I watched all the Jack Kellogg webinars.
That's good.
Yeah.
Look, it's a start. And I think it's kind of cool because, Jack Kellogg learned from like Tim Grattani. There's different stages in the markets. And whether you learn from Jack or Tim Grattani, it's all archived. Jack is giving great webinars. Shout out to Jack Kellogg, gave a great webinar yesterday. He's sick. He's been sick like the last 2 webinars. And he still gives it. hardcore work ethic. One last question. What do you want to achieve going forward? Like, you've made $1 million, but obviously, like in the real world, $1 million, especially after taxes, isn't like the end all be all. What are your goals for 2024, 2025?
To be honest, I haven't thought that far, but probably like give my parents a better life and probably give back to the trading community too, because it's a tough industry. So yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. Think about that. Like, he just crossed $1 million. What is he thinking of? His parents and the community. This is what I say, and I said this during the webinar, like in the real world, like nice guys finish last. In trading, nice guys can finish first. Like, you have to stay humble. Obviously, like, you have to have the work ethic. Like, every day you're getting up and you're watching the markets, you're learning. Are you trading every day?
Pretty much, yeah, because I'm a DJ. Just can't stop looking at charts on level 2. It's like a movie, you know?
Fair enough. Can you promise me one of these days in 2024, I have a goal for you.
Yeah.
Can you take one day off for me?
I'm going to take one day off and trade crypto.
Stop! He's a sarcastic guy. Stop. Will you take one day off? Take your parents somewhere nice, okay?
I will.
Can you do that?
Yeah. Well, I told them I'll give them a plane ticket and they can go somewhere, but I'm not gonna go because I got to trade. But yeah, I'll try to see if I can. Like,
this is I'm gonna pay for you guys to do something together for a day. Okay. It's gonna be a day with you and your family or you and your friends, whatever. Mm-hmm. Take one day off.
Yeah. I'll try to. Yeah.
Notice he won't promise it. He's like thinking about it in his head. But no, it's cool because like you have the work ethic, because as you said on the challenge webinar, and seriously, watch the whole webinar. I'll post the whole webinar below because I think it's gold. Mm-hmm. You say that you're learning every day. Like, you know, people are asking like, what's going to happen for the rest of 2024 with the elections? And you and I are both saying like, you see every day what stocks are in play.
Yeah.
You look at the pre-market winners. Mm-hmm. You can see the patterns. You don't have to plan 6, 9, 12 months ahead of time.
Yeah, like just be okay with uncertainty. If you're always prepared, you should try to take it one day at a time, and see where it takes you.
And also, like, I bring up this point, which I think is very important. A lot of people feel like they have to position. Mm-hmm. You don't. If you have a small account, you can get in and out same day. Mm-hmm. Why do people feel like they have to, like, this is my top stock pick for all of 2024? Like, have a top stock pick for today. Have a top stock pick for like the next 2 days. You can get in and out, right?
Yeah, I feel like maybe everyone's trying to be Warren Buffett, but
they are.
Yeah.
What's your average holding time? Like, do you hold like 1 day, 2 days, intraday?
I feel like my longest is holding pumps for like multiple months until they
Whoa, you've done it.
Yeah, until they kind of reach zero, because you know it's going zero, so if you can, yeah.
Be careful though. You agree that newbies shouldn't short sell right now. It's dangerous.
It is, but like if you time the top right, yeah. Just don't slam the lows. If you slam the lows, you'd be crying, you know?
Your biggest loss was shorting a pump and dump, and it blew you up early on in your career.
Yeah, I slammed the low, it bounced, broke out, and then
how much did you lose on it?
I lost like 30K of the account, so yeah.
And then it crashed later too, which just like it's like salt on the wound, right? Where you're like right that the pump is gonna crash, but you're already blown up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Be careful, take small gains. Get excited from Andrew sharing all of his tips. Again, click the link below. I'll include, like, we just did like an hour-long webinar. Yo, congrats, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Seriously. Get inspired, man. I love it. And then Jack and I, we go back several years. He's now giving weekly webinars to challenge students. All 3 of these guys, by the way, are in the challenge. Okay, so if you click the link below, you can apply to be in the challenge too. Jack's giving weekly webinars. JCP, we got to get him on a webinar. I'm going to Japan with him in a little bit. Like, I like to celebrate with my new millionaire students. And Andy and I gave a webinar a few weeks ago. I'm sure we'll give another one, but all of these guys are slightly different. Lesson number 1 is that we have different strengths and weaknesses, different personalities. You know, Andy is very similar to me where we don't have patience, but he's learned a lot from Jack on how to be patient. With me, I can't learn patience. JCP has also learned patience, so it's really good to know your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm not the most patient person, and I think it's probably too late for me to learn because I'm just focused on teaching. But if you're impatient, learn from Jack. He's really good at going for bigger runs and bigger wins because he holds longer. I will never have like a huge multi-week runner like he does sometimes, but it's the gift and the curse. Lesson number 2, I want you to learn patience if that's like your weakness, but at the same time, don't overstay. Jack sometimes overstays. Andy, specifically, we were supposed to go to Dubai to celebrate him crossing over $1 million. He ditched me. I had a whole trip planned to Dubai. It was going to be very fun, and he was in a trade, and he was in Fannie Mae. He was already up $150,000, and he focused on the trade, and Fannie Mae didn't keep going. I think he actually lost like $12,000, and he missed a free trip to Dubai. So learn patience, but at some point, lock in some profits or lock in all profits. I like selling too soon. Even you can see some videos of us like making limoncello and doing a cooking class. I got impatient at both of them in Italy. I'm really just not a patient kind of guy. It is not just trading. All of them love, making limoncello and making pasta, and I was just like, let me know when it's done. I'll eat it and I'll drink it. That's a true story. But really cool just to have all the millionaires together. Lesson number 3 is it's really amazing to have a community of like-minded people. So if you do click the link below to the challenge, have the right mindset. Like it's not just anybody who's lazy or wants like money overnight who's going to join the challenge. It's my most dedicated students, and we have a very close-knit, tight community. The top students, travel with me. Like JCP and I will be in Japan in a few weeks. Italy was amazing. But I love the community that we built. Again, everyone's a little different, but we respect each other and we respect the process and the game. We're all still learning, so you can learn from others. Like lesson number 4, never stop learning. Jack might be at 13 million, JCP and Andy are just over $1 million, but they're still talking, they're still learning from each other. The best traders that I know, they never stop learning. It's very easy to fall down and lose too much, especially if you ever get too cocky, if you're ever unprepared. Even Tim Grattani, I just did a webinar with him. If you click the link below, you can check that out. During the webinar, he made over $100,000 on GOVX. And he's taken time off recently for his family, but at the same time, it's pretty amazing to see what he's been doing. Trading part-time, making roughly $1 million a year each of the past few years. Check out that webinar. Lesson number 5, I think it's amazing to see what people do, but you have to have patience, okay? Jack lost money for the first 18 months. Andy lost money for the first 24 months. JCP didn't really take it seriously in the beginning. It's been nearly a decade since he joined the challenge, and now he's crossing over $1 million. But it wasn't like a decade of straight studying and trading all the time. He went in and out of, dedication. So everyone's on a different path, but you just can't expect to make millions 12 months, 18 months, 24 months in. You got to get in tune with the market. And then sometimes, you'll be there during a hot year like 2020 or 2021 and now 2024 and everything clicks. You can't control when the next great play or the next hot market is going to be. All you can do is control your preparation. Lesson number 6, prepare, prepare, prepare. Every single day in Italy, you see us doing fun stuff. We went to the beach, we went hiking, we did some fun stuff. But every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, or 10 a.m. Italy time, which is 4 a.m. Eastern, when the US stock market opens, every single one of the millionaires was always prepared. Normally, we don't trade at 4 a.m. Eastern because that's crazy. It's early. I feel for people who live in like LA or Hawaii. But when the market is hot, you got to be prepared. So 10 a.m. Eastern, we planned around that. 10 a.m. Italy time. I keep saying Eastern. 10 a.m. in Italy is 4 a.m. Eastern. And the millionaires and myself were prepared. Even though it was summer, when the market is hot, you got to push it. That's lesson number 7. You must try to capitalize when the opportunities show themselves, not when you want. Some of you have like jobs or school and you're like, okay, I'm going to trade like this hour of the day or these 2 hours of the day, or I'm going to take Tuesday off from work and I'm going to trade Tuesday. You don't know exactly when the next play is going to be. The market doesn't care about your schedule. So if I were like in school or had a job and I could only trade a little bit, I would still constantly check in on the markets. I would study a lot at nights and on weekends so that hopefully I won't have to be in school, or I won't have a job, so I could be, better prepared and have more time to focus on trading, because that can grow so much more than like a normal job. It's crazy. But you can't control when the next play is going to be. You just have to be prepared. And if you find a pattern or a hot sector or a hot play and you really get it and you can see like your profits rising, play that again and again. This is lesson number 8. These guys don't trade unlimited numbers of stocks. Like, they all trade very similar stocks because those stocks follow the patterns. If you click another link below, I'll link the 7-step framework. Andy, JCP, and Jack all love my 7-step framework. Whether you're, dip buying number 5s, whether you're trying to ride the number 2 or number 3 run up, whether you're trying to short the number 6, the failed bounce after the big crash, you choose which patterns work, again, best for you. But the 7-step framework really does apply. You can try to relax, you can try to trade less, but sometimes, again, the market doesn't care about your schedule. And this summer was supposed to be one of relaxation for me, and I'm just more tired, fatter, unhealthier than ever, because I can't take a hot market for granted. So many new millionaires being created, so many new students, not even making millions, but making 4, 5, 6 figures, right? So you can get inspired by like these talks that I did with Jack and JCP and Andy. Actually, here's a little clip from the challenge webinar we did. Check this out.
You have to recognize when you have a big win, you're going to make mistakes, okay? That's the only thing you get out of this webinar. Write it down. If you have a big win, if you have your biggest win ever, wire money out, take that money away. Do not let yourself give that money back to the market, because we want to keep trading. We want to keep making money. We want that feeling again of making that huge profit, of destroying it, of hitting new highs. We all are humans. We love performing. We love making money. We love doing any type of very good performance. So remember this lesson from this webinar. Please, guys, I don't want to hear any more of these horror stories. For me, I don't want this ever to happen again either. I've done it so many times, guys, but I've never done it as dramatic as I did it on Fifi and AMC and GME, making $500,000, losing $500,000. It's just the worst feeling in the world.
And the reason why we share this stuff is so you can learn. Like, it's good to have these frames of reference, whether it's a few $100,000 or, there's other traders where they've done this with millions or even tens of millions of dollars. So there's so many different levels to this game. But whether you're starting out, even if, let's say, your biggest gain is $100 and then you flipped it to a $200 loss, and that's a lot, that's fine. It's all about recognizing that you can do better, because these great opportunities are going to come about again and again and again. Maybe not with the Asian tsunami that was 20 years ago for me, but at the same time, there will be amazing outliers, and you should be prepared, because if you do trade them, not even like perfectly, but just like take them into the move without screwing up, there's still a lot of record gains to be had. But you have to be careful with your excitement levels. That's what you really have to do. You have to control your greed.
Yep, that is the root to all evil, is excitement levels, euphoria, dopamine, and wanting some of that greedy pie.
Wanting too much.
Too much.
We've all talked about this, because, like, look, I say that it's a pie. Sometimes I say fire a whale. The market is so hot. There's so many plays. If you're not catching it, you feel like you're missing out. Missing out is part of it too. When you miss out on a play for whatever reason, maybe you have the wrong broker, you haven't studied enough, you're too late, it's moving too fast, you're uncomfortable. There's a lot of ways to screw this up. But all of those things, it's not a bad thing. It's just part of your journey. And you feel discouraged because, like, everyone wants profits. If you don't have profits, you feel like you're bad, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you learn 5 important lessons that you'll take forever. You have the loss and you feel like crap. But I want you to think a little differently, where you have a huge checklist of lessons that you have to learn. Losing big, missing out, screwing up. These are good lessons. The lessons that Jack have, the lessons that Andy have, the lessons that I have, they stick with us and they help us go forward so that on every future trade, we're better. So don't be afraid of screwing up so dramatically, especially if you're trading small in the beginning. Be afraid of not getting the experience. Be afraid of not learning these lessons. Be afraid of a perfect play coming right now and you not being ready because you haven't done all the groundwork. All of this stuff is groundwork to your future. Every single day, every single trade, good trade, bad trade, missed trade, fast trade, dead on trade, profit, loss, it all adds up to your experience so that you're better prepared. The more experience you get, the sooner, the better prepared you'll be in the future. Be fearful if you're unprepared. Everyone always prays for the next hot stock. You want the next play. I pray for a slow market. I pray for a deadly market with no good plays so that you have no excuse but to study. You have nothing else to do. Most of you have small accounts. You're not living life. You're not maximizing the opportunity. You don't know what you don't know yet. You have to learn what you don't know. And that comes from play after play. But if you don't experience those plays in person yourself, you can study these guys. They're sharing their trades. I'm sharing my trades. You can study the past. We have more knowledge in this generation than any human in the history of human civilization. Do you realize how much knowledge you can put inside this brain? We're using a small part of our brain. It's like the movie Lucy. We're going to keep going faster and faster, and we're going to end up as a big blob because that's the future, and AI will take over. But until AI takes over, we're humans. Hear us roar!
That was epic. Let's go. I fucking love it. So that was honestly, even though he was screaming, everything he said was fucking amazing.
Man, you gotta let him cook.
Let him cook, dude.
Let him cook! But at the same time, recognize that once upon a time, the shoe was on the other foot, okay? They were in the challenge webinar watching my first few millionaires like Tim Grittani and Michael Good give webinars. It's pretty cool to see, challenge students rise up from the very beginning and then become millionaires themselves. This applies for you. You might be looking at Jack and JCP and Andy and getting inspired or being like, that can never be you. It can. None of us are special, okay? That's lesson number 9. You don't have to be that special. You don't have to be that smart. I can give you a lot of examples of boneheaded mistakes that I've made, Jack has made, JCP has made, Andy has made. None of us are very much, very much intelligent. I mean, it's not even the right sentence, but none of us are very smart. I'll tell you a lot of crazy things that we all thought when you're older. We don't really understand everything about life yet. And when someone like JCP or Andy first cross $1 million, it's like being a newborn baby, right? Like the rules of the game have changed. It's a whole new world once you have financial freedom. So I don't know how to get through to you guys, but these are just normal guys. They clicked the link below. They enrolled in the challenge. They focused on their studying. They watched DVDs, video lessons, webinars. As you can see from this clip, they all love the webinars. JCP especially, like he's asking, questions, watching archive webinars. Like you guys have to put in so much time and effort studying the past and reviewing your own trades. So if you study the past, you study the present, you're better prepared for the future. I know it's cliche, but it's true. In lesson number 10, money is nothing if you don't have friends and relationships. And this is why I love spending time with my millionaire students. Some people are like, it's just business. Why do you take it so personally? When you are truly passionate or obsessive about something, it's not just business. You don't just do it for the money. This is my life's work. When my family comes, when I'm spending time with my mom and my dad with the top students, like this is amazing. Sure, I make money from teaching. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to donate all my trading profits to charity. But at the same time, I am so grateful to be able to have a job that fulfills me and gives me meaning. After 25 years of trading, it gets a little monotonous at the end, right? Like, okay, profit, loss, profit, loss, profit, loss. But passing these lessons down to newbies, where a lot of newbies don't have the right broker, they don't have the right mindset, knowing what I know now, knowing how much it's going to help a newbie really makes everything that much more meaningful. So I'm just proud of them. Jack, Andy, JCP, all my millionaire students, all my upcoming millionaire students. Remember, we're all at different parts of our journey. Just because Jack is at 13 million doesn't mean that Andy or JCP won't surpass him in the coming years. The beautiful thing is they're all very young. They now have financial freedom and they have the process. So please leave a comment. Congratulate JCP, Andy, and Jack on their success. I wish them more success. You'll see them on more trips with me. I want to see if you have what it takes to get on a trip with me. If you have what it takes to be my next millionaire student, click the link below and leave a comment. You'd be surprised how many people don't watch these videos until the end. You'd be surprised by how few instructions people follow. The more instructions you follow, the more you study, the better your odds of success, okay? That's what it comes down to. All of these guys studied hard. How bad do you want it?